Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Yokoso, 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 and a special Yokoso. Welcome, 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 one and all to the Stadia Monday Night Chat. I hope you're all well. I hope you are good, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely to see everybody in the chat as ever. Quick shout out to everybody who's here early doors. Big special welcome. Jerome, of course, always first at the door. Thank you, Jerome. Christopher, Dave, Dylan, Sednar, Roger, Sean, Jerry, Stadia Dad Games. Good on you, sir. And now your mama knows. Anthony, how are you? Jakey, Dave, we've done that. Paul, how are you? Everybody who's lurking as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this special. Well, it's not special. It's just another Stadia Monday Night Chat. Just feels a bit special. I wonder why. Anyway, welcome. Hey, formalities out of the way. Hit the likes. And if you're new here, oh my gosh, welcome. Welcome. Say hello in the chat. We are a friendly bunch here. We come here on a weekly basis to celebrate all things. Whoa! Thank you for becoming a member there, Sean. Oh, Shogayo! Sean McDonald there has become a member. He has become a Shokyu member of the channel. Well done. Thank you. Much appreciated. Anyway, as I was saying, we are a gathering here. We gather here in this Church of Stadia to celebrate all things Stadia. This is what it's about. We're here because we like playing Stadia, talking about Stadia, having an opinion on Stadia. That's what it's all about. So if you are new here, a big Stadia welcome. Much appreciated for you wanting to come here and spend some time with us in the chat, with me here, and all of that. Oh my gosh, we have a packed show tonight. Yeah, we have a packed show. Obviously, obviously we've got a packed show. So very excited about that. So we will have all the news, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a lot of news, especially recently. We will have all the news and we'll have some chat time. And hey, an opinion or two may spurt forth from my mouth. I'll try not to rant, but hey, there you go. Anyway, just before all that, I touched on last week, everybody, last week about sort of filtering my Twitter feed, because I'm sort of fed up of some of the negativity because it becomes sort of a pointless exercise. And so I'd also come to the realization that, you know what, Stadia's not for everybody. That's all right. But it is for some people, and it suits me. It suits my lifestyle. I like it. I have an Xbox, but I spend all my time talking about Stadia, playing Stadia. And no doubt many of you here in this chat today, watching this, also like Stadia, like talking about Stadia, like playing Stadia. And you know what? That's all right. It's all right to have our own little club, a little group, where we discuss things. And if people don't want to be part of that group or don't want to discuss these things or just chat nicely about Stadia, that's fine. Shouldn't bother us. As long as they leave the room, close the door gently so as not to disturb us as we chat. So I thought that's it. I'm not going to be kind of going on or harping on about all kind of people talking about negativity. And that was my kind of new philosophy going forward. I thought for this show says Stadia Monday Night Chat. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Stadia because I'm a fan of Stadia. And if you're watching this, you're probably a fan of Stadia as well. And there's no harm in fans coming together, talking about Stadia. So I just thought I wouldn't sort of participate in that kind of negativity or going on at people who are negative about Stadia, But, it's days like this. It's hard. Yeah, to live by that carefree, jolly approach after all the brickbats that have sort of been thrown at Stadia. Rest assured, I've been in the metaphorical bakery baking away lots and lots of beautiful, piping hot, humble pie, ready to serve it, yeah, ready to shove it down certain people's faces, yeah? But no, come on, no negativity. We can be calm, we're ignoring those people. But the smell of that humble pie ready to serve up. Somebody's going to be enjoying that tasty humble pie, and it ain't me. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so much for my don't comment, don't respond. But it's so hard not want to shove the humble pie right down people's faces sometimes. Anyway, calm, come on. Happy place, because it's a happy day. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. And we're going to come to that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to come to that. But I'm going to try and stick to my philosophy of, this being a place of like-minded Stadia fans talking about Stadia, enjoying Stadia, picking faults at Stadia when they want to. But generally, hey, we all like Stadia. That's it. That's my little mini rant. But it's a special kind of day. And I will rant a bit more a bit later. Anyway, games you've been playing. You know the score, ladies and gentlemen. You know the score as well as hitting the likes. And if you're new here, hitting the subscribe button and toggling the notification bell so you know when I go live with stuff like this. Tell me what games you've been playing, ladies and gentlemen. Put it in the chat. I'd love to see it. It is a hint of cherry on that humble pie nerf. It is a hint of... that there are racks of it. There are racks of it out the back. There are racks of it cooling on humble pie racks. Anyway, let's just let it ride. Games you've been playing. FIFA. Been playing a lot of FIFA. It's a good game. It's a fun game. Even if you lose, the sweet, when you get a goal, which is the point that, you know, I always was a fan of Pro Evo football because it kind of felt more pure, even though it had, you know, ridiculous team names because they couldn't get the rights to the actual team names, like Merseyside Reds or something like Merseyside City or something stupid like that rather than Liverpool. But I was a sort of a Pro Evo snob. But the thing about FIFA is the way that it's designed is that it gives you that real satisfaction when you score a goal, that it feels like, yeah, well deserved. So I've been, you know, even though I've been kind of losing matches here and there, when I score a goal, there's a real kind of, yeah, sweet. And, you know, I was playing and my daughter sort of walked past as I was swearing at the ref or something, or wondering why something wasn't offside. You get so drawn into it. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, it's FIFA, man, it's FIFA. Anyway, so I've been playing a lot of FIFA, absolutely loving it. Avicii, been carrying on playing lots of Avicii and stuff. So, yeah, all good. A lot of this weekend actually has been spent. I'm doing a room transformation for my son, turning it into a gaming room. Some people on Twitter may have seen some odd pictures. I tell you what, it is looking sweet. You know, it's a sort of a bunk with a fantastic gaming setup. Anyway, so I've been doing that as well. I've been building up, sort of living vicariously through my son, building the dream bedroom that I always wanted as a child. But anyway, it's about the Stadia game. So let me know what you've been playing anyway. Stadia Dad, Marvel Avengers, FIFA 21, yes, of course. Roger, too much flu. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I thought I might have flu this weekend, just an aside, because I got the old, yeah, the old Stadia jab. No, I got the old jab. Yeah, the old COVID jab. Yeah, but no side effect. No kind of, yeah. I was expecting to feel a bit fluey for a day or something, but nope. Painted a room, built a giant bed. Yeah, all good. Feel good. So get your jab, yeah? Get your jab, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, Emmanuel, I can't handle a standard match, but discovered 4v4, which is fun. I'll have to do that. I think I need as well. I've only sort of scratched the surface. Some bits of FIFA I still find a bit confusing, you know, so I sort of just dip into kind of a quick match now and then, create my own team and stuff. Yeah, no, that's what, yeah, I got what you were talking about there, the 4x4. Is that on the Volta stuff, the sort of street soccer style bit that they have in it? Cyberpunk, Manuel, yes. Yeah, I like dipping back into Cyberpunk. Cloudy Ben says Division 2, always. Jerry says I'm not muted enough people. I've muted the ones where I've seen a pattern of behaviour. Yeah, this is talking about Twitter. Anyway, Far Cry, Happy Cloud Gamer, Far Cry 5. Yeah, Dasadini, you're gonna have to talk. You're gonna teach me how to play Pro Club. So maybe if I join you sometime and just to sort of explain how it all goes. Cloudy Ben says Doom Eternal, Ancient Gods Part 2. Yeah, I'm tempted. I am tempted because I'm a big fan of Doom Eternal. I haven't quite finished Doom Eternal. Evening. And Dominic, Dragon's Quest 11, says Holtz. I know you're a big fan of those sort of games, if I am much, if I seem to remember, Holtz. Sean, you are not muted. Oh, I don't think you are anyway. No, it's very few people, to be honest. It's like 3. But it's like cut out the sort of, you know, the Pareto principle. Cut out the few that make the biggest noise that annoys you, yeah, and then life will be so much better. You know, there's plenty of people with contradictory perspectives. It's just those that have a pattern of behaviour that just becomes like annoying, like the blue bottle against the window pane, as I said last week. Buzz, 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 buzz. Just open the window, let them out. Anyway, we did that last week. News. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to it. Wow. And what news today, ladies and gentlemen? What news? But before I come to the big news, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, the mic drop from Stadia today. Whew, let's cover the other stuff, because there was a lot of other stuff last week. There was stuff I was excited about last week, really excited. Stuff I was going to go, you know, I told you so, I told you so. But all of that just trumped by other news. Anyway, Dragon's Quest, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me because my Elgato buttons ain't working. Right. There we go. Dragon's Quest, ladies and gentlemen. Dragon's Quest. Let's move that there. There we go. Dragon's Quest 11S, Echoes of an Elusive Day, arrived last week. Look at that. Doesn't it look a fine, fine game? It looks really lush. Lush, as they say in Wales. It looks really lush in sort of its glorious 4K 60 frames per second. It is, of course, the award-winning RPG from fantasy grandmaster Yuji Horii. And it's hit Stadia now. And if you like JRPGs, this is the series that has defined the genre, apparently. A sprawling, character-rich, colourful epic spanning dozens of hours, plus fantastic, juicy post-game stuff. And the kind of weird thing that you can split between a sort of old-school, top-down 8-bit look and this beautiful, sort of slightly cel-shaded, animated style kind of 4K 60 frames per second. I mean, it looks great as well. I'm not, you know, it's like one of the, there's so many games. I'm just thinking of $31, you know, 30 quid. I've got so much others to play. Is it enough for me? I don't know. But I'm really glad, because they're not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm just really glad that a title like this is on Stadia. So it was great news, a sort of a drop from no one. Nobody's expecting that. I was like, didn't see that on the radar. Didn't see that rated on PEGI or ESRB. Just dropped. Yeah. So that was really kind of the cool thing. And we're seeing this more and more. It's just like really exciting. Because we know, you know, those that watched the show at the beginning of the year, when I went through all the games we definitely knew, and there's about 20 odd games we definitely knew had been announced would be coming out this year. There's loads that have dropped since January that weren't on anybody's radar. So that's really good. Of course, Terraria, I'm not going to go on about that, but again, that finally arrived. Good price as well. I don't know whether, again, it's one I've spent, oh my God, I spent so many lost days, weeks in Minecraft that I'm worried that if I start playing Terraria, the same thing will happen. I mean, literally, when I was on my own over weekends, sometimes I became one of those sort of what they call them in Japan, harakiri, you know, sort of trapped in my own house, refusing to leave my house, just playing Minecraft, like literally from Friday evening through to Monday early hours of the morning, like crazy. You just get lost in it. So, you know, I don't know. It's like I'm an addict. I don't want to stay away from Terraria, because in case it has the same kind of effect. But anyway, let me know whether you've purchased that. It'd be interesting to know whether you purchased that at all, whether you've been playing, whether it's your sort of game and stuff. Other news as well, ladies and gentlemen. Other news. Here we go. Let me just... Where we go. Zorro, ladies and gentlemen, Zorro the Chronicles. He's back. Now it has a very clear kind of animation style here. It's been announced for Stadia. And I think it was Bill from Nerdnest, or somebody said it looks like DreamWorks sort of TV animation type style. And I think it's on kind of Netflix or some kind of SVOD channel. Anyway, the game is set to launch in autumn, and is an adaptation of an animated series with the same name, developed by become studios. It sort of looks a bit childish, but you know, that's good. It's good to have variety on the platform. Again, a game nobody was potentially sort of expecting. Good to see it on, to have variety, to have games for kind of the kids and the families and stuff like that. Always very useful. A sort of Assassin's Creed light in its style, I guess, is one way of describing it, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that kind of dropped. The other news, and this was really the big news, of course, Square Enix, ladies and gentlemen, had their presentation. You know, they're like big publishers do their big presentation, and people get their bag of popcorn and stuff and start streaming and watching it and see if there's any kind of, you know, news or updates and everything. And, you know, we see it, these big publishers having their kind of big reveal, their big showcase, you know. And so this is usually the bit after the showcase. This is usually the bit where a big publisher has a showcase, where we start seeing on Twitter, oh, no, logo gate, where's the Stadia logo? There's no Stadia logo. And then the other people going, yeah, but it's coming, it will come. And they just, you know, Stadia maybe said they didn't want to have the logo. No, where's the Stadia logo and all that, you know, and it's all over Twitter and that's all you hear about, you know. Wasn't going to go rant, I was going to be calm. But this normally, post a big publisher reveal, you get that all over Twitter. Tumbleweed. Silence. Because I'm sorry to disappoint, but Stadia was mentioned a few times. And yet, I did not hear those normal voices I normally hear when there's no mention of Stadia. Which, you know, why? If it's something that you complain about, then if they do it, you should jump on it and go, oh, look, they've done it. But nothing. To me, I couldn't believe the lack of tweeting about the presentation from Square Enix. They dropped some big announcements, especially about brand new games coming, big games coming day and date to Stadia, plus remastered versions of a classic series coming to Stadia. And yet my Twitter feed was quiet. And I was like, what? Why isn't everybody singing about this? Because I swear, if there'd been no Stadia logos in it, people would have been going, yeah? This was a big deal. A big deal. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, and I have to say this because, and now your mama knows is in the chat and won't be happy. But the first announcement was the Black Panther edition, DLC, call it what you will. I thought I had it lined up here. Let us do this. Of Marvel Avengers. So, Black Panther edition for Marvel Avengers was mentioned by Square Enix. So this will be coming to Stadia, of course. Your chance to play as, you know, in Wakanda and play as Black Panther and all of that. And so this looks really a really exciting addition to the DLC for Marvel Avengers and stuff. It's good to see that they keep adding stuff to this and makes it an ongoing sort of, not a sort of a service game, but a good ongoing kind of delivery of stuff. I know the Hawkeye story stuff's just come recently as well, but this looks super cool if you're into sort of the Marvel Avengers game. I know Anthony is super excited for it. Stadia specific logo, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying, yeah? Stadia specific logo. That trailer. Oh, sorry. That trailer, ladies and gentlemen. So it's good. But of course, the big news, ladies and gentlemen, the big news from, to me, personally, not personally, but just to me, I thought it was quite big. is this. Square Enix announced here, as I said, Square Enix doing what a number of people have been saying we need to start seeing from Stadia. Nay, a number of things that people have demanded. This is what needs to happen to prove Stadia, somehow to prove their worth. They demand it. A big publisher, including Stadia, in the logos at the end of a brand new game reveal. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look. Can you see? Or is it just off the screen there? In fact, let's show you. Look there. Stadia at the bottom. Yeah? Stadia. Yeah, the Stadia logo. So Life is Strange collection. So this is basically episodes 1 and 2, Life is Strange remastered collection. I played Life is Strange 1 and I was sort of a big fan of it, and I follow the writer. Now, so Life is Strange, this is the thing that, again, this is the thing I've not seen people mention as well. This is BAFTA award winning. Life is Strange, I think Life is Strange 2 won the BAFTA for Best Story. Yeah, so the BAFTA Games Award. If you're not aware of what BAFTA is like the UK Oscars. And then they have, so they do a BAFTA Film and Television Awards. So it's a major thing. A lot of Americans, and now it goes before the Oscars. A lot of Americans come here hoping they've won a BAFTA. It may be a good indication whether they're going to kind of win an Oscar kind of thing. Anyway, BAFTA also do a video games award things hosted by Dara O'Brien, an Irish comedian who is also a massive gamer. Anyway, Life is Strange 2, I think it is, won for Best Story because it's a story-driven game and it's really kind of emotional, deals with some kind of difficult subjects, but in a kind of really kind of well thought out way. And as I say, I follow the writer of this on Facebook. I don't know how I ended up following him. I think he followed me for some reason because he knew a friend of mine. Anyway, so I became really interested in it, and I got my daughter to play it when it first came out. She was sort of just turned sort of teenage, so I thought it might be a game that would appeal to her. Going through some sort of issues and stuff like that, and just understanding life and navigating life as a sort of a young girl and all that kind of stuff. So it's really kind of cool from that point of view. So I'm really excited to see that the remastered collections, Life is Strange, is very narrative driven. It's in chapters and stuff like that, is being launched, available in autumn on Stadia and stuff. But also a brand new game, Life is Strange True Colors. So this is the brand new game from them. And again, at the end there, well, at the beginning, sorry, you see the Stadia logo. So this is slightly different, slightly more, I'd say, more game orientated. In its style, she has a sort of a special feature. She can feed off people's emotions or read people's emotions and stuff in this. But again, it's there's sort of an investigative story going on as she sort of searches for the truth about her brother and stuff like that. It's quite a big game. And as I say, it's a sequel to an award-winning game. Graphically, it looks really good. And it's a great story, great characters and all of that. So this was Square Enix big game, other than the PlayStation exclusive that they talked about, which was the other big game they talked about. This was their big game, and there was a Stadia logo at the end. One, it's coming day and date with Stadia. Yeah, so 2, so you got your logo. 2, it's coming day and date. So you got your logo. 1, it's coming day and date. 2, yeah, it's been announced in advance. Yeah, so we're not like finding out. So we're not going, oh, I'm going to buy. I might accidentally buy it on the PlayStation because I didn't know it was coming to Stadia, and then I'd be really angry. You're like, because like, as if you're going to buy it on the PlayStation, you're going to buy it on the PlayStation. What a ridiculous notion. Anyway, the point is, yeah, number 3, we know it well in advance. Yeah, tick, 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 boom. No, tick, 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 as they say, in terms of what people moan about Stadia, yeah, or, you know, have a tendency to moan. No Stadia logo on the big announcements. Stadia don't announce the games far ahead of advance when they're announced for the other platforms. They don't come day and day. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, Exhibit A. Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A. So, yeah, that was the big news, right, last week. Like, I thought, to me, I mean, you know, you might not be a fan of Life is Strange, you may not be aware of Life is Strange, but it is a big game. I'm excited personally because I do like the games. But it's it's a sequel to an award-winning game, all of that. So, anyway, it's going to be released 10th of September, 2021 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox X, Series X, Xbox Series S, and Stadia, ladies and gentlemen. Stadia. Yeah? So, all good as far as I'm concerned, yeah? All jolly good. So I thought, you know, all in all, what else do we have here? Yeah, basically, what we've had over the last few weeks is this kind of tick, 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 yeah, of games coming, you know, they're all indies and all that kind of stuff, different types of games, yeah. As I said, where are the tweets about this? Where were the tweets? I made a conscious decision not to focus on the naysayers, but it was hard to when good stuff like this happens. And Stadia do that one thing that people criticize it for. It's almost as if Stadia gone, yeah, you're right, we should do that, yeah, because that's what's expected with the big, you know, with the gaming company and stuff like that. Yeah, we should. Anyway, as I said, in terms of game news, a lot has been happening. If you think about it over the last few weeks, people said, oh, yeah, not many games in January. I read an article saying, yeah, Stadia's really slowing down. There's only been like 9 games this month. This is a few weeks ago. There's only been like 9 games this month since January. And this time in December, there was 9 games in a week or something like that. And I just thought, that's like saying I went to my orchard in January and there were no apples. But when I went to my orchard in September, there were loads of apples. Yeah, I wonder why that is, because it's seasonal, you doofus. Yeah? Last year, the games all got concertinaed towards the end of the year as of all the kind of features, Stadia features, and then they all suddenly came out. Yeah? A, because it's seasonal, but B, also because there'd been delays and everything got concertinaed towards the end of the year. So you cannot compare January and February, which is normally a very slow period in many industries, including the game industry, with October, November, December, right? And this was a games journalist. And I was just thinking, you don't get apples in spring, yeah? You get your apples in autumn. That's the way it works, yeah? Anyway, stop ranting, Clive. I'm sorry. I just read it and I just remembered it. Anyway, but we've slowly, as the year's gone on, as I've said, as things go by, the same happened last year. As things ramp up, we get that tick, tick, tick of games coming to Stadia. Tick, 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 tick. Then this week, boom. That's a reference to a song there. Yeah, in fact, a reference to 2 songs in the chat, if you can, you know. But anyway, I thought last week was a good week for Stadia. But no, Stadia this week said, hold my beer. Yeah, it went tick, 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 boom, shake the room. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the news. Ladies and gentlemen, the news. He says as he goes to his news studio, here it is. Look at this. Resident Evil, ladies and gentlemen. Village. Now, we knew it was coming, yeah? Or at least we were pretty certain it was coming because we knew about the leaks, about money paid to Capcom. And then the assumption was, oh, it's probably for the Village. Let's hope they bring Resident Evil 7 and all that kind of stuff. See these? Uncross them. Yeah? Not necessary. We know, right? Now, remember the checklist, ladies and gentlemen, as I rant on about this. Remember the checklist of things that people moan about. Yeah? Where's the Stadia logo? Is it announced far enough in advance? Yeah. Is it coming day and date? Yeah. Remember, those are the things that are thrown at Stadia. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Resident Evil 7 comes to Stadia Pro. I'll get to that bit. And Resident Evil comes with the Stadia Premier Edition. Hello. The new generation of survival is here. Resident Evil comes to Stadia on May the 7th. Day and date on all your favorite screens. Not only that, the other one, so the fourth thing, pre-orders. Stadia needs to have pre-orders. Yeah? Day and date. Pre-orders. Not only that, they're doing a Cyberpunk on you, baby. They're doing a Cyberpunk. They're doing the free Stadia Premier Edition. I mean, really? Really? I'm going to have a third one. Start my own shop. Like I'd order the game anyway. It's not as though, like, I'm obviously going to incentivize some people, but like I was going to order the game anyway. So it's like win-win. That's awesome. And if clearly Stadia have spent, they're really pleased about this. And there was a tweet from Stadia, from Nate Ahern, who's one of a Stadia staff member, saying they've been working on this project for a while, or working on the announcement. So they're very excited to announce it. You know it's going to be a good port. Yeah? FIFA, great port. Cyberpunk, great port. You know that Stadia have been working with Capcom, or the teams, whoever, have been working with Capcom to make this a great port. So you know it will be a good port. So I feel like a Cyberpunk moment coming here with this title, with the offer they're doing. I mean, it's just such a cool thing. Yeah. And if you follow the link, anyway, you get the Stadia Premier Edition if you order before the May 21st. Now, remember what happened last time, ladies and gentlemen. They sold out the special offers. So make sure you order it before, I think it's May the 21st. So get on there. Don't come running to me if you miss out. No, it's not fair. Stadia run out. That means you've been warned. You know, that's the nature of a sale. Yeah. While offer valid while supplies last, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, there we go. Anyway, such a good deal. And we know, or we certainly feel, that this worked for them, for Stadia with Cyberpunk. Yeah. I think the reaction it got, or the facts or the data they got back from that special offer, informed a lot of decisions. Maybe not totally, but certainly added to big decisions that were made in February. And clearly, it had a massive effect on the potential of what they can do when they combine, you know, like this, offering the Stadia Premier Edition with a game and stuff like that. You know, it's like I remember I bought a Nintendo GameCube Platinum Edition with Zelda, because it was a special Zelda bundle edition. 200 odd quid, or however much it was. And it's a beautiful platinum looking GameCube. They used to come, so it was sort of platinum with a platinum controller and stuff like that. Zelda edition, Wind Waker Zelda edition. Really lovely. This is kind of the reverse of that. I think Bill from Nerdnest mentioned it, you know, before for Cyberpunk. It's like buy the game and get the console, you know, thrown in, rather than buy the console and get the game thrown in. But it works. It's so easy for Stadia to do, and it's such a powerful thing. A top-rated AAA game everybody has a chance to, you got to buy the game and you could play it in really good, graphically really well with a Chromecast Ultra and controller, everything you need to get the maximum Stadia experience from it. So really, really cool. Absolutely brilliant. So remember what I said. Announced ahead of time. Yeah. Stadia logo, yes. Coming day and date, yes. Super, super special offer to incentivize you to buy it. Yeah, and yes. Pre-order, yes. What the biggest game of the year so far. So let's have a look at the big games so far. January, Hitman 3, day and date, boom. Yeah, Little Nightmares, day and date. Oh no, Clive, it's actually a day early. Yeah, and pro game. Boom. Outriders, day and date. In what? A few days, next week. Boom. Next big AAA. Resident Evil Village, day and date, pre-order, boom. Yeah. But oh no, Stadia haven't finished there. Oh no, my people. Oh no, my people, they haven't finished there. I was going to have a little section where I contemplated whether it was pro game announcement week or whether it might be next Tuesday. Because they usually do it the sort of the last week before the end of, before the first week, last week of the month. I was going to really complicated way of saying last week of the month then. But basically, I was going to say the week before the first week of the next month, last week of the month, right? They normally announce them last week of the month. But no, hello, an early pro announcement and not in it. It's Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Edition, ladies and gentlemen. Gold Edition is dropping as a pro. I seem to remember reading, and I shouldn't focus on the negativity, but I seem to remember reading people going, yeah, all these indie titles they drop as pro, I'm not interested. They need to drop a AAA title. They need to drop a AAA, you know, they need to do the trip. Will this do? Is this okay for you? Yeah? Just saying. The gold edition, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to playing this. Get you in the mood, ready for the village. Are you ready to deep dive into the spine-chilling world of Resident Evil on Stadia? Yes. So here we are. Resident Evil The Village, release date May the 7th. And Resident Evil Biohazard Gold Edition, April the 1st. And remember, if you're a pro member, you're not having to buy it. So if you still want to buy Outriders as well, I mean, like, hello. Outriders, Resident Evil Biohazard. Oh, it's not a joy because it's free. Yeah, if you're a pro, you're getting a part of your pro bundle. So then you can buy Outriders as well. Win-win. Anyway, this is the return to the series roots. Gives you a first-person perspective. I think previous ones were sort of third person. Played a bit of I think Resident Evil 5 was the last one I played, or maybe even earlier. There was a re-release on Xbox, a really old one. I hated it. Not because it felt really dated in its game movement and style. So I couldn't quite get the hang of it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited this is coming as a pro because it's a sort of big chunky game you can get your teeth into. Built from the ground up on the Resident Evil engine. Including banned footage, Volume 1 and 2. Newly unearthed footage exposes further secrets from the dark past of the Baker family. End of Zoe. A shocking installment of Resident Evil 7. So it's not only, ladies and gentlemen, it's not only Resident Evil 7 Standard Edition. No. It's Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition dropping as a pro title. Pretty good, I'd say. How do you like them apples, ladies and gentlemen? How do you like them apples? I've got a list here. I've just noticed. Behold, I'm going to read it out now. Behold, people, Resident Evil Village. 1, day and date. 2, announced ahead of time. 3, available pre-order. 4, Resident Evil 7, a AAA title as a pro title. 5, another Stadia Premier Edition bundle offer. I mean, as I said, how many boxes does Stadia need to tick? And you know, as I say, you know this is going to be a good port, as I say. So there we go. It's such... And they got it out early. I mean, maybe it's because the clocks have gone forward. Yeah, in the US. But it came out early in the day as well. And Twitter was abuzz. But really, there is a pattern. I think Nerf Report mentioned it. And I've mentioned it here as well. There is a pattern. If people shut out the negativity and they look at the facts, yeah, just look at the facts. As I said, I'm going to repeat it because it's worth it. Hitman 3, AAA title, beginning of the year, on all platforms, day and date, on Stadia. Little Nightmares 2, popular sequel, came out on all platforms, day and date, with Stadia. Well, a little earlier for Stadia. Plus, it was a pro game. Exactly, thank you. Outriders announced, day and date, coming to Stadia 1st of April, and other platforms. AAA game. Resident Evil, AAA game, announced ahead of time, coming to multi-platforms, day and date, with Stadia. There's a pattern there. You can't ignore it, yeah? You know the expression, you can't see the wood for the trees, man. These are the trees. These are the big trees, yeah? You can't ignore the pattern, which I and many other people have said, yeah? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Very excited. But there's more games, you know, the normal games. It's funny, I'd sort of resolved myself. Not resolved myself, but I sort of resolved myself to the point where I sort of thought, like I said earlier, that it's a bit like the Wii U, yeah? Not everyone liked the Wii U. It wasn't the most successful console in the world. But there was a load of people who loved the Wii U. There's some great games on the Wii U. The Lego game that they had on the Wii U, which is like a GTA kind of Lego type game, exclusive on the Wii U. Great game. Really great game. But there were people who liked it. People who liked playing it. People who liked talking about it, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying Stadia's like the Wii U in that regard. Is it not successful? But what I'm saying is it's okay to like a platform, talk about that platform, and people should just sort of leave you alone a bit. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So just ignore them. It's like a hobby. Not everybody's going to like your hobby, but ignore them and enjoy your hobby. Enjoy Stadia. That's all I'm saying. So I sort of began to think, you know, it's fine with kind of its curated collection of indie games and the big AAAs that we'll know come along now and then. But it's announcements like this that suddenly go, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, come on. You're thinking too small again. You need to start restoring the bigger picture. Not too big. Still stand by what I say. Stadia's still building, yeah? But these are the big building blocks that we've said, or I've always had faith that were coming, that people just need patience, yeah? Big announcements don't always get made at the beginning of the year. They build. They build. So this is great news, anyway, great news. But also, ladies and gentlemen, possible rumours. We're going to just bring it back down to sort of the normal world of a Stadia Monday Night Chat with kind of, you know, lesser known games and interesting, quirky indie games and stuff like that. But recently rated, so possibly on the horizon, because we don't know what other pro games are going to be. I can't imagine it's just... Because we had Little Nightmares 2. That was quite a big game, really, as a pro title and a brand new game. So I can't And we still got Ark Survival to come. Like before, in April, I'm sure. It has to come, surely. But anyway, other titles recently seen on the ratings board, I think this was on Peggy, is The Last Kids and The Staff of Doom. Here we go. My tube buddy there. A very distinctive cartoon style here. So this has been recently rated on Peggy, or seen has been rated on Peggy for Stadia. Not 100% guarantee. I think it's fairly certain. In this one, you use time to gear up as Jack, Quint, June, and Dirk in search for the missing pieces of the ultra-powerful Staff of Doom, Doom, Doom. But beware. Melandri and the Queen of Slime Monsters. This is the Xbox trailer, by the way. Seeks the staff to summon Rezok. There we go. So that has been spotted in the wild, as it were. Go back to my studio. The Last Kids on Earth. So it's a sort of upgrade your weapons and your armor as you sort of cruise around a town called Wakefield in sort of post-apocalyptic pickup truck, fight through zombies and stuff like that, and massive monsters. It looks sort of a fun game. So, you know, that's the other thing. Now, the other thing, the other one that's been rated, now it's been rated on two things. Why did I not put it down? It was rated quite a while ago on one ratings board. Is this it? Legend of the Keepers. Okay, so this, and it's been rated on another one, so it could be coming out. Yeah, I think this is it. Legend of the Keepers. I'm not familiar with it. With the Dungeons Company, all your worst dreams will come true. Legends of Keepers is a roguelike dungeon management game in which you lead a team of monsters against challenging heroes. Okay. So this has been rated before. I forget on which board, but it's been spotted having been rated on another certification board in a different territory for Stadia. So it's got that kind of 8-bit kind of 2D. Oh, not an indie game, not a 2D with these pathetic indie games. You know what Stadia need to do? They need to start bringing the AAA games. They're bringing Resident Evil. What? They're bringing Resident Evil. Yeah. Oh. They need to announce them in advance. They've announced it in advance. What? They've announced it in advance. They need to bring it day and date, though. They're bringing it day and date. I'll just get my coat. Anyway. Another indie title, as they say, coming. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention as well, so there's all the games and stuff. Darksiders 2 is a pro game. Maybe that's a good shout out, Paul. Right. So you may or may not be aware that Stadia have sort of co-sponsored, organised a thing called Playcrafting. And I'll just call up the Twitch stream here to see if it's still here. So the Play Anywhere Game Jam. So this is basically Playcrafting is an organization to put together these sort of play jams for developers. They do it all over the world. They do international ones. They go into schools, as I understand it, and they sort of teach developing. And anyway, this one, they bring developers together for a jam to kind of create some mini games. And they bought some, got some teams to get together, small development teams to kind of work some game ideas and concepts. And it was sponsored by Stadia as well. And I'm just trying to... Okay, so here, we've got here. So this guy at the bottom here is from Playcrafting. So he organises these sort of jams and stuff. hosted by Holly Peppermint. What a lovely name. Is that her real name? Holly Peppermint. What a great name. And then this guy here is Kirk Lakes from Google Stadia. Now, Kirk Lakes' job is, as I understand it, he explains it in here as well, in this little live stream where they're talking about what a great week they've had with all these different sort of development teams coming together, working up ideas for co-op games you can, couch games you can play together. Not necessarily for Stadia, but Stadia is sort of helping sponsoring it. But they're not just a distant sponsor. They are involved, as you could tell from this guy, Kirk Lakes from Stadia, being in this Twitch stream here. They're talking about the week they've had on Playcrafting, and his job is he works with indies. That's his role, to bring indie titles. No, it's him. He's responsible. Kirk, you're bringing all these indie titles. Kirk, you're doing too much of a good job. There's too many indie titles on Stadia, apparently, Kirk. Stop overperforming, Kirk. Anyway, his job is to bring indie titles, work with independents as well, work with self-publishing developers as well, things like that. So he's not dealing with the big developers, indies. I was going into TV talk then. He's not working with the massive developers and publishers. He works with the small indie games sector, trying to encourage them to bring games to Stadia and stuff like that. And so he's working at sort of grassroots level here, seeding potential kind of future indie developers and stuff that we might, work with. And potentially some of these people that were involved in this may, become part of Stadia makers and stuff like that. But it's good to see, Stadia working at effectively what I would say grassroots level of development, encouraging indie development. Because this also, the thing about this Play Anywhere Jam was also about diversity, bringing developers with a diverse background together, because it's when you have diverse teams, you have diversity of thought, diversity of ideas, and that's often where you get this kind of creative mashes of that create something greater than the sum of its whole and stuff like that. And so it's just really great, and it's good to see Stadia getting involved in these kind of things as well. And as I say, it wasn't just a sort of we'll sponsor it, put our name on the bottom, here's some money. They were actively involved. As I say, this guy Kirk Lates is the guy responsible for dealing with indies and stuff like that. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the Stadia news of the week, really. It's been a cracking week, and still, I haven't even gone over the pro games. Do we think we're going to get an announcement this week other than the Resident Evil? I can't believe Resident Evil 7 is coming in a week's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. Let's go to the chat. While I need to fiddle about with chat. So have a little chat, because I'm never quite happy with how it sits in my screen. So bear with me. I do apologize. I shouldn't do this thing live, but I can only see it when I'm live. Sounds about weird, that, doesn't it? Right, let's pitch it. Ah, there we go. I've been meaning to do that. Let's... Oh. Right, and we could probably make it a little bit larger. Right, there we are. Sorry about that. I'm just, what's, no. Ah, there we are. So it's been annoying me when I watch this back. Right, there we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen. I shouldn't be doing on the fly. There we go. Let's just cut that out. Right, on the fly chat time, ladies and gentlemen. As I say, I can't see the chat unless I'm live, so I can't fix it when I'm offline. Let's just get rid of that. White light. White light. Let's deal with the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pop chat out. Pop out chat. Bring it over here so I can see it nice, and let's make it big. Right, ladies and gentlemen. So Wow, what a busy chat we've had. I'm sorry I've not been paying attention to chat. Been reading you the exciting news, ladies and gentlemen, the exciting news. Don't get the new underwear, people. It's funny. I was reading that, Paul. I was thinking, how do you know what? You know, been shopping? Because I've just bought a load. Spooked me out for a moment there. Not that, a bit of TMI there. Too much information. Anyway. Yeah, just in time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, gaming advocate, Chase. I hope all is well with you, Chase. I saw your tweet earlier. I hope things are good. Sorry I missed that. As I said, I think to you in the tweet, make sure you take time for yourself, brother. You can't look after other people if you can't look after yourself. Let's take that little tip. So always take time out for yourself. Last Tuesday of the month, Roger thinks, is the pro. So, yeah, they don't always do it the day before. So I sort of give them the grace. I think it's the last Tuesday of the month, the 31st of March. I'm not sure. I think it is. Because sometimes they do it maybe the Thursday before. But Ark is a good one. Jerome says he didn't know about the gold edition. Yeah, exactly. Resident Evil 7, welcome to my family, son. Defo playing, Sean says, Defo playing RE7. Yeah, what a pro game. Exactly. I mean, let me know what you really think, ladies and gentlemen, in pro. Gonna play, yeah. Paul's itching and 8. RE verse is included in Village. What's that, Roger? Sorry. Resident Evil verse. I have faith once again. Exactly. I had adjusted. I never lost faith. I never lose faith. I've adjusted. Yeah, Hulk says, don't eat those apples from the Baker family. No, that's right. They're rotten. I also bought Cyberpunk. I had 4 premium editions all at once. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Even my son said, what, another one? I should have called up that. Not another one? Brenda. Yeah. Don't forget Stadia Tuesday. Exactly. Could they be doing big deals with Konami in the background? Good one, Codex. So I was trying to think of, because we've still, don't forget we've got Judgment coming. I know that's not Konami, but like big titles we got, still coming. This is the thing. When you focus, if you just analyze what's actually coming, like it's what's coming multi-platform wise is also what's coming to all the other platforms. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating. Codex says, Clive, Stadia gets great games and Stadia's right now the best, but I'm worried about Google, how they react to numbers and investors. How they'll deal with Stadia. Well, so here's my take on that, Happy Cloud Gamer. I think them shutting down the studio, I don't really want to hark about it, but I think when those of us that kind of view the shutting down of the studios as a pivot, I also think it is Stadia slightly deciding it is a pivot, but also deciding let's not run before we can walk. So I think Google, my view on it is that Google are in this for the long run. But what they've decided is let's not rush ahead or get too lofty early doors. We've got something here. The release of Cyberpunk is showing it. Let's just focus on building the platform out, because obviously Cyberpunk's obviously delivered some kind of data that says we've got something here. That's why they're replicating it for Resident Evil, the Village, Resident Evil 8. Yeah. But I just think that what they've done is they've just sort of reeled in their kind of lofty ambition. Now, that's not a bad thing. I don't mean they're a bad thing. I mean, they're sort of building more steadily over time. And in doing that, you build a more solid and firm foundation. And I think they kind of realize this is maybe the right path to take. So as long as they're delivering, we said it, but, I certainly, along with a few other people, we sort of said in February after the SG&E announcement, if they are pivoting and focusing on bringing the big games, as long as they do, well, they are, ladies and gentlemen, they are. So far, so good. This is taking us up to May. And every month there's been a AAA game, multi-platform. It's arrived on Stadia. So they are doing what we've sort of predicted or assumed that they might be doing. And, long may it continue, ladies and gentlemen. Long may it continue. So I think, and I've sort of, as I sort of touched on last week, that they have lofty ambitions. And when they announced at GDC, it's funny, I saw a Stadia conversation on YouTube. I shall not mention it, but on it. So last week I said that Stadia is not competing with Xbox and PlayStation, etc. Now that sounds like, well, of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. What are you talking about? Yeah. What I mean is they're not competing with them in their arena. I used a boxing analogy yet. Yeah. Because they're new out of the blocks. You cannot expect them to instantly, you can't come out the box and have a 20-year heritage or a 30-year heritage of gaming and, 100 million player base. Like, you build, you train, but you can have the lofty ambitions of where you want to be, where you see yourself. And at the beginning, you've got to say, okay, we're something new. But how do we compare with what you already know? Well, what we're building here has better CPU power, has, more teraflops and all of that. Now, people say, well, they should never have gone through that. But that conversation they were having there and then was with publishers and developers, not with the general public. They were having that conversation in March 2019 with the publishers and developers saying, we've got the tech. This is how powerful it is. Yeah. It can compete with the current gen back then and will be on the way to competing with the next gen as well. That's our ambitions. And down the line, we have these big, lofty ambitions. But this is where we're starting now. So they're not saying out the box, we're competing with Xbox and PlayStation in terms of we expect to get a third of the market share, like as of the 21st of November, 2019. Anybody who believes that is deluded. But what they're saying is we're building something here, a tech that's as good as Xbox or, was at the time, and PlayStation 4, so Xbox One and PlayStation 4. We've got something. We hope to build it over time. We have these lofty ambitions. We're on a journey, and join us on that journey. And we're all on that journey. We haven't arrived at the destination. The destination wasn't November the 19th, whatever it was, November the 21st, 2019. Mine was 3 days late, Clive. I couldn't believe it. And they said I'd get it on the launch day, and I didn't get an email for 2 days later. All right. What was there? We were at the beginning of a journey that PlayStation has started 30 years ago, whatever it was, 40 years ago. A journey that Xbox started 15 odd years ago, whenever it was. Now, the path of where the destination is, or the journey is going to take them, or the journey is going to take the industry, is a slightly different path. And Stadia and Google have the advantage of seeing where that path is going and jumping onto it early. And the others, Xbox have seen where that path is and are moving like a giant oil tanker, slowly turning, because they have a massive turning circle towards where that path is. PlayStation, equally a massive oil tanker, slowly turning towards where that will be, but trying to balance the fact that they need to sell boxes as well. But eventually, those big behemoths with all their experience will join the same path as Stadia. Stadia's trying to shortcut on the new path of where they need to be, but they're not at the destination. And that's the thing. And that's what I was talking about last week. So yes, when they came out and announced Stadia, they compared themselves with the Xbox and the PlayStation in terms of powers and stuff. But that's not saying we're competing with them on their level right now. It's them saying we're on a journey and we hope to be able to be punching with the big guys when we get there. But it's a journey. Join us. So that's kind of my point. And it was this conversation I saw that I just thought they're missing the nuance of the point I was saying. Yeah. We're on a journey. Anyway, so there we are, Happy Cloud Gamer. That's the thing, he says it could be a perfect place for indie games. And I think it could be. But I've also realized that it's, ironically enough, so Stadia is, you read so many comments on Discord about people who've just discovered Stadia and how, the same old story you see where, I used to be a gamer and then a lapsed gamer, family came along and I couldn't, oddly enough, there's lots of people on Twitter who are into Stadia who, have a PlayStation 5, have an Xbox Series X, whatever, have Stadia, who love tech, right? And there are a lot of people who sort of on Twitter and talk about it. But oddly enough, that's not who Stadia is aimed at. Stadia aimed themselves at developers and early adopters, those sort of people, early doors. In a way, they hoped that they would become evangelists for this new tech. Now, if we're brutally honest, that sort of backfired and didn't quite work. But ultimately, that's not who Stadia is for. Those early adopters and, people who buy a PlayStation 5, who buy an Xbox X, buy the Stadia new technology, some of us in that situation. So I'm a big Xbox fan. I become a massive Stadia fan. So there are some people within that Venn diagram, those early adopters, many, in this channel today, many I follow on Twitter and stuff, many in Discord, who, have embraced it as early adopters. But ultimately, the irony is it's not for people who are desperate to buy a PlayStation 5. And that's okay. It's not for people who are desperate to buy an Xbox Series X. And that's okay. But you have to realize, and it's often the people who criticize Stadia are those people. Well, why should I get it? I've got it on the PS5. Why should I get it on the Xbox? Well, don't. There are lots of reasons you might want to get it. But if you're happy on your Xbox Series X, or you're happy on your PlayStation 5, that's fine. That's okay. Because the big irony is, I don't think Stadia is for you. It's not aimed at you directly. It's not to say you won't enjoy it. It's not to say, there's many of people who are, tech geeks and whatever who love it and do love it. Of course they do. But ultimately, the target demographic is not PlayStation 5 gamers. The target demographic is not Xbox Series X gamers. It's gamers. And those gamers who perhaps haven't had an Xbox for a while or haven't had a PlayStation 5 or who've not had the opportunity to jump on board gaming for a number of years, or even in territories when it launches there that never really had consoles or the opportunity. Because as I've said millions of times, there's a reason Call of Duty is on mobile. It makes an absolute fortune in territories where they don't have PlayStations and Xboxes. PUBG, 50 million players until it was banned in India. 50 million players. PUBG, I'm talking mobile, on mobile phone. There are people who want to play AAA games, and the only way they can play them at the moment is their mobile phone versions of them. Cloud gaming offers you the opportunity to play AAA games that aren't converted for mobile phone, are actual AAA games on your phone. And the same with GeForce Now. It's oddly enough, why do I have to buy all my games again? Well, it's like, do you know what? If you've got a library of Steam games, you've probably got a gaming computer. You know what I mean? Why would you buy Steam games if you can't play them on your computer? So you've probably already got the tools to play them with. And if you really want to upgrade your computer, you're going to upgrade your computer. But if not, GeForce Now is an option. Yeah? But again, it's aimed at a different crowd than Stadia. So when you judge Stadia, you need to judge it from the point of view, imagine you don't have PlayStation, or that you can't justify spending 500 quid. Yeah, some people are lucky. Yeah, and you go, oh, or you know, it's a hobby. You know, like people of my age, a certain generation, I see them cycling around in their tight lycra shorts and their $3,500 carbon fiber bike. That's what I should be doing, apparently. A man of my age. They call them mammals, yeah? Middle-aged men in lycra. Never, you know, all dreaming that they're somehow Bradley Wiggins winning the Tour de France, whatever. That's not my hobby. My hobby's tech. But when you get to a certain age, many people, you're fortunate you have this money, you can spend it on old man hobbies. It just happens my old man hobby is playing games. And so I treat myself now and then. I'm lucky in that position I can do it. But not everybody's in that position where you can go and I only say that now because 2-3 years ago, I couldn't justify 500 quid. No way. Couldn't justify it. And my budget. Kids, young kids, household to manage and look after and pay for but Stadia is ideal for people in that situation who, you know, not only the speed of which you could just jump into a game, which again, time is precious, money is precious, time is precious. It fills it's not a narrow niche, it is a growing big niche. And then when you take that analogy and take it out to territories where Xbox and PlayStation aren't even an option, or gaming PCs, then you can see its potential. But Stadia have decided to grow steadily, build that base. That was not the rant I was planning to go on, ladies and gentlemen, but there you go. Back to the chat. Oh, Roger says ReVerse is Resident Online co-op. Oh my God. Wow. Sean, I think if I was a publisher, I thought Google was going to cancel a platform. I'd not bring my games to the platform. I don't buy the comments while the contract is done. No, exactly. If contracts can be undone, yeah, ultimately it would be no loss to Capcom if Stadia go, actually, you know, we're closing down SG&E, we're slowing down the thing, we don't want to spend this money. You get out of it. Years ago, a long time ago, I worked in the gaming industry. I negotiated an absolutely massive deal for myself, not just me on my own. We courted 4 of the biggest publishers, including EA, I think THQ at the time. I want to say Ubisoft. It's not Ubisoft. It's the other French company. Forgotten now. And I think Take 2. And they came to the UK. and gave us presentations. We went out to San Francisco or Redmond, I think, to see EA, and then they came as well to England presentation, all bidding potentially for the business. And we did an absolute massive deal in the end with EA. And about a year or so into the deal, things didn't quite pan out as EA had expected. So, you know, we had to renegotiate the deal. You know, they had to negotiate to sort of get out of it a bit, which is, you know, fair enough, because you don't just go, no, pay me all the money. Because it's a relationship. It's an ongoing relationship. So you have to adjust if things don't work out. So if they'd said, absolutely pulled the plug, they could have easily gone to Capcom and said, oh, okay, we're not going ahead with this now. So, you know, they probably won't get all the money back, get some of the money back. Yeah, cancel the project. Well, we've sunk some costs. You negotiate that. You walk away, all friends. No love lost. That's business. But no, they haven't done that. So take from that what you will. But there would be no point in Stadia doing the deal. There'd be no point in Capcom doing the deal. It's not just about the money, really, if Stadia is going to be dead by July. Really. Or dead by December. Yeah. Outriders coming as well, you know, AAA. So just read the runes, people. Read the runes. It's all there. It's all there for you. There's plenty to... Vivendi, thank you, Stadia Dosage News. It was Vivendi. Thank you. It was Vivendi. But anyway, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Disco Elysium also. Thank you, Roger. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Stadia, March 30th. Day and date. I read somewhere about Disco Elysium. It hasn't, I forget which territory it is. I read somewhere recently. It's not been given a certificate in some territory. I'm not going to Google it now. There's something in it they've sort of banned or don't like. Thank you, Dazzadini. Schooling or ranting, Roger, is the question, really. Something very important about the competition having to sell boxes as well. This hinders them moment to a large degree. Well, I've said this, Project Storm, before about Xbox. We know what Xbox want to do. And in fairness, I think they're navigating it pretty well. Better than I thought. They've invested, they're up to their necks in boxes. They've got to sell them boxes. But they've had the foresight to know that the boxes are going to take, if they're going to sell boxes again, they're going to take a slightly different form. Next generation around. Is it the end of the box? No, I think the box will be adapted. Obviously, the Xbox is, you know, we want the best way to play. But what happens when the best way to play is via cloud? Now, that sounds ridiculous now, but you know what? It's possible. Other than having to spend so much money. Look at the price of chips. Yeah? Graphics cards. There is a major problem with... I was going to say chips, but only wisecracks in the thing. But silicon chips in the, you know, that Samsung are delaying their phone because there's not enough chips being manufactured in the world. That's how serious it is. So it's not just the case, I can't get my graphics card. You know, I can't get my RTX 3090, whatever. It's much more serious than that. Cloud gaming sort of gets around that because you don't need 100 million GPUs to build 100 million boxes. Yeah. You need a lot less GPUs to serve a lot more people. And the technology is only going to get better. And then the games will start being developed in such a way that they only really work in the cloud. And actually having a box under your desk won't be able to play some games. I can see that's the way it's going. The technology and the development will kind of merge, and it'll become the de facto way where people play. And therefore developers will have to start building games for that way of playing, that virtual console in the sky, whether it is the Xbox virtual console, the Stadia virtual console, or the PlayStation virtual console. The games will evolve if that's where the market is. Yes, there'll always be a demand for the box under the TV, but that demand could well plateau if it hasn't already plateaued. The early sales of Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 are on a par with the early sales of as I understand it, I've read anecdotally, I read it somewhere, with PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So, as I've said before, there's no major growth other than just recycling every 5 years. There's no major growth. And big companies like that are interested in growth. And the growth market is those territories where previously it's difficult to sell PlayStation 5s or Xbox Ones. And the answer, but mobile phone is shown that there is an appetite for gaming. It doesn't matter that it's a mobile phone game. It's only a mobile phone game because at the moment, the only way to play in those territories, a mobile phone game, is for it to be a mobile phone game. But if you could play a AAA game on your phone, you will play it. If you could play Call of Duty, the AAA version, you'll play it. If you can play PUBG, you play it. We know the evidence is there. Roger says, I heard the PS4 controllers are sold out in Germany. Chip shortage is due to the pandemic. Yeah, it is. But I think in the same way, the pandemic has sort of demonstrated lots of things, a reliance on certain things, and made us rethink the way we live our lives. That may mean our lives are never quite the same. And am I going back to the office 5 days a week? You bet your bottom Nelly Deli I'm not. I never did anyway. But I'm certainly not going back as much as I did, if at all. KW Media says, Duncan said the other day, cloud would just be turned on for consoles as a hybrid, which makes perfect sense. The box been enabled to play cloud games with no download. Exactly. That's where I think that the tech will merge. The boxes won't disappear necessarily entirely. I think there will be a means to deliver an enhanced version of the stream. But equally, you can see it makes sense if that... It makes more sense if the box is eradicated or becomes an app, and the box, a bit like an NVIDIA Shield, enhances the visuals. So you still play the native game from the cloud, and you could still play it on the screens you own, you're in the browser or on an app. But if you buy a dedicated machine, a bit like a Chromecast Ultra, it has enhanced features which enhances the game experience. But you still want that game to work on all the screens you work. And that's how I can see PlayStation and Xbox adapting that transition. There won't be a sudden flick of the switch and there'll be no more boxes. I think the boxes will adapt and evolve until eventually maybe... Who has a CD player? Not me. Who has a DVD player? Not me. I've got them somewhere in the house, in the attic, loft somewhere. Although, ironically enough, there's always a nostalgic market, you know. My teenage daughter's got a record player. So who knows? Retro boxes. Sean said, we won't be going back in the office full time either, Clum. We're doing a hybrid of office home working. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. People have seen. And, I mean, the government, I think, or no, a think tank, just talking on that, I read today, Demos, which is sort of a political think tank, have come up with this theory that, employers are going to have to really justify why you need to come into an office. So that's it. They were talking about if more people having places to work, not necessarily working from home, but you can work from home, but having a space in your local area means that your local economy will benefit. So having sort of open office spaces where you can go in with powerful, say, computers and stuff, so you can log in, you know, to work and have good, decent, you know, if your home internet's not that cool or whatever, not that good, you can go to the sort of local workplace, not your company's office, but a workplace office, use their technology, tap into the cloud of your work or whatever it is and work. And then that will help revive the local economy as well, rather than everybody going to the cities and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, people work where they live, not necessarily in the house, but where they live. And it's kind of an interesting kind of thought. So, but yeah, one of the thinkings behind that is that, you know, unless a company can really justify why you need to be in the office, maybe in a creative kind of away day or something like that. But a meeting, why can't I have a meeting via Zoom? Especially if you've got some people at home on Zoom, some people in the office, some people at a desk. Literally, I used to be like, before the pandemic, watch a team of people who had meetings with people in different offices in different parts of the country, but at least 6 of the team were in the same office. And they all sat next to each other. So when they had those meetings, they all sat next to each other. And so you have these weird scenarios where to go, Jan would be sitting next to this person. Do it over here. Jan, looking into the camera. Jan's sitting next to you. Jan, have you got the figures for last monthly report? Jan, yeah, Dave, I have. I've got the figures. Looking at like he's literally sitting next to you. But because they're talking to other people as well, they're in parts of the country, but it always struck me as weird. It's like, so if you had an office scenario where some people are in the office some of the time and some aren't, then equally having a Zoom meeting is just as justifiable being at home, whether you're in the office. So anyway, yeah, not everybody, Roger, can do it. We're lucky. Not everybody can do their job from home, and I appreciate that, but yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a conversation about home working. I could have a completely different podcast on that. Over the year, people say to me, when I do my Zoom calls, I tell you what, I've got the best looking Zoom calls in town. Got a brilliant camera, got lighting, got 2 screens because I'm streaming. If you're a streamer, you're set up for Zoom calls, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Enough whiffle waffle. What a great day it's been for Stadia. Merely another indication that Stadia is doing what we thought they would be doing, or certainly I and other people have sort of said that they plan to do, despite the closure of Stadia Games and Entertainment, focusing on making sure they bring the games. And all the people said, well, Clive, I hope you're right. The proof will be, well, we'll have to see. Will they be bringing Outriders? Little Nightmares 2's, you know, there's no logo. That'll be an indication. If Little Nightmares 2 doesn't come to Stadia, it's coming to Stadia and it's a pro title. Okay. Outriders, I mean, it's coming day and date. Oh. Well, Resident Evil, that will be an indicator, Clive. It's coming. Resident Evil 8 is coming day and date, and Resident Evil 7 is a prototype. Yeah? Tick, 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 boom. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed it very much. Going off on one. I hadn't planned to. I love it when you're all here live in the chat. You spur me on, ladies and gentlemen. If I didn't mention you today or didn't shout out any of your comments, I do apologise. My brain is firing on all cylinders as I read the chat and all of that. A big, big, big thank you for being here today. And Stadia Dad, if you're watching, do not worry. I have the thing that you want for your big 24-hour charity stream for Games Against Hunger. I have it coming up soon. Don't worry. I was slightly sidetracked today. But anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week, wonderful afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for being here. Better call up my OBS. I'm ready to say goodbye. Thank you for being here. You've been wonderful. I really, really appreciate it. Hit the likes. If you're new here, subscribe. And thank you, Sean, I think it was, for joining Shocker You, the members. Really, really appreciate that. Have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you around all very soon. Goodbye.